is restorative mainly by each or do you have a couple
No,
styles?
I've done all of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite style to teach?
Probably just all levels is, you kind of adjust and adapt to who shows up. Since I'm so new here, I don't have a lot of big classes, but up in Silverthorne, I would have 40 people.
Oh my God, that's a big class.
Yes, and then you just kind of have to be on your toes, as to who can do what and adjust and kind of make it friendly for everyone. Is that your friend?
No.
I can't tell if people are coming or going.
She was leaving.
Okay, well, we're going to start.
Just start if she wasn't.
Yeah, and if she comes in, that's great, and if not, we'll still get a chance for us to relax. I'm going to grab my prompts real quick first. But I want you to start just totally on your back, no props, just however feels nice for you. Lay on your back, bend your knees, keep your legs straight. Let your hands just fall out, maybe about 6 inches from the hips. So I've been thinking a lot lately. And what is your work? Are you a medical person at all?
So I do nonprofit.
No. Okay, because I didn't want to get in over my head with someone who might know more than I do. But what I was going to say is I've been thinking and reading a lot about neural physiology and really the physiology of our brain. And I just wanted to share with you that we are really engaged in our brains more and more and more, it seems, in kind of the main frontal lobes and the amygdala, which is the primitive brain, the very back of the head. And it's the oldest part of the brain. And it's the part of the brain where the fight or flight response happens. And even though we're not being chased by tigers anymore, we have our own fight or flight responses just in the course of our days. It might be traffic, it might be a difficult meeting at work, it might be a relational issue, but we do tap into that part of the brain, probably more than we would want to. So I always feel very strongly that the objective of a yoga class, and particularly a very relaxing, restorative yoga class, has the objective to bring the brain into a quieter space. And we begin to change the actual wavelength. And they change from beta waves to alpha waves, which promote calm, peaceful feelings, and feelings of well-being. And as that switch begins to happen, when we quiet ourselves down, there have actually been studies that show a different part of the brain lights up. And that newer part of the brain is in the front left. And it's called the anterior cingulate. And it's a section that's slightly smaller than your fist. And when you start to tap into that brain, that part of the brain, and leave the amygdala behind, beautiful things begin to happen. physically, your blood pressure starts to go down, heart rate slows, respiration slows, immune functions start to go up, mentally, the brain starts to relax, there's clarity. And the most amazing part is that there's spiritual changes that happen when we get into the alpha state of that section of the brain. And we begin to develop more tolerance. We're able to react less in a hot way. We are more peaceful, and we begin to sort of entertain and tap into the ideas. Here she comes. Hi, come on in.
I got you.
You just need your mat, and you can set it up like that.
I was out there and I was like, oh, I had to like get all my stuff in my bag. And I was like, oh my god, I'm in my bag.
Oh.
So last night.
You know, tell me your name.
Natasha.
Natasha, I'm Mary. Julia, can you tell she needs what I'm talking about just right now?
Yeah.
We are leaving the hurry up brain behind. And
Oh,
we're
no.
tapping into the peaceful brain.
I'm so excited.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're here. Just take your time, settle in. Yeah, and I just asked Julia to find a nice comfy spot laying down on her back. Yeah, beautiful. Just however that feels good to you. So this will be a restorative class, which means we don't move a lot, but we do a lot of relaxing. So we'll continue to do that, and kind of tap into the area of our brain that leads us more toward peace. So as humans, it's really hard for us to find stillness. And I think it's just great when people come to a yoga class and allow themselves the luxury of just being quiet. So as you watch your thoughts race around in your mind, just see if you can become the observer of those thoughts and let them pass by, just like they're little scenes in a movie. And perhaps in between each scene, you can train your mind and discipline it to just come back and watch your breath. Just watch your body breathe. Just gently bend your knees and place your feet on the floor and sort of wobble your knees side to side. Kind of massaging through the low back, nice and slow. Easy does it again. See if you can actually be that witness that watches your body, watches you breathe. And then ever so gently, just push yourselves up to a seated position. And our first restorative posture of the evening is going to be a heart opener. So you'll need one block and your bolster. And if you prefer blankets over your block, that will be for your head. But we're going to just bring our bolster tightly up toward the low back, right on up. toward the sacrum. And as you lower down onto the bolster, you can do whatever feels good for your feet. The head should be able to rest gently on the bolster. If you find that you're kind of hanging off of the bolster, then you can use the block of the blankets. I also like to use a blanket under each forearm. So if your blankets are handy, you can take the blanket and then fold it one more time so it's pretty thick. And as you reach back on each side, just allow a nice sort of a pillow rest for those arms. And again, whatever feels good for the legs. You can have them long. You might like to have them in a Supta Baddha Konasana open position. Or maybe you like to have the knees together. And feel free to change the legs at any time if you feel you need to move. So the whole point of restorative yoga is to let the body be supported. Beautiful. And I'm going to honor what I've told you about quiet and silence and stillness. And just begin to relax. And just ever so gently begin to draw your knees together. Maybe lift the feet up and draw knees toward the chest. Just pull them in gently. Good. Push your blankets away from your side body and drop your feet and gently sit up to a seated position. Just a nice tall spine. And draw a few slow head circles with your eyes closed. Just one direction. Notice your breath. Perhaps you'd like to deepen it so it's not in the top of the chest, but starting to draw down toward the belly. And then reverse these neck circles, dropping chin heavily to the chest. Beautiful. And one or two more rotations. And then you're going to grab your bolster and bring it to the very top of your mat. Send your knees around behind you and just come onto all fours for a moment. Curl your toes under. Inhale and find a really deep curve in that low back. Yes, that's beautiful. And then press up slowly, slowly into the cat. Gaze toward the heart. And then find a nice neutral spine. Walk your knees out wide. And we're going to draw that bolster in tight for a supported child's pose. So we're going to just drop the chest and the head is just going to go to whatever side feels comfortable for you. And kind of wiggle around a little bit until you feel your child's pose with arms extended straight out, but not forcefully. Just in a really gentle, supported way. Is it okay if I touch your back here? Take a deep breath here. Turn your head and neck over to the other side. gently press your hands back and walk your bodies back toward your knees. And see if you can just find a nice, easy seated pose, Sukhasana. Good. Close the eyes again here. Just see if you can take a few really sweet and slow spinal circles. One more to this side. And then reverse the direction. Beautiful. Allow your head, your neck, your shoulders to just float through the ether of space. And again, see if you can actually witness this and observe it, perhaps even from above. Good. And then let's send our feet off to the right side and bring your bolster now onto the mat, crossing the mat. Yes, like that. And we're going to have the bolster just over to one side, whatever side you choose is fine. Bring it tightly into your hip. And then you're going to just reach with your ribs nice and long, perhaps grabbing a blanket as you go. And bringing the arm out onto the side. And see if you can just rest your head, your neck. You can keep it on the upper arm like this. If it might feel better for you, you can bring the blanket in a little closer and just reach the arm out more in front of you, perpendicular, and then drop the head and neck. So you can choose what level of stretch feels good for your neck. But the main thing is we're going for a nice opening of the side body and the ribs. So let's take an inhale with that top arm. Draw it straight up to the ceiling, and then see if you can bring it all the way down toward the ear, to the floor, and wherever that arm lands, just let it relax. No need for it to be straight or struggling in any way. Beautiful. So settling into a beautiful opening of the ribs. Good. Gently release the top arm back down to your side. Good. And then with that lower arm, just gently press up. And then staying right where you are, just sort of flip your legs around to the other side, leaving bolsters where they are. Just flip your bodies around that way. It's so easy. Yeah, there. You got it. And then settle in on the other side, really bringing that hip toward the floor, and then the arms one more time. Easy does it. Gently, gently. And just settling in. And while you're here, I'll read you a little bit from the Radiance Sutras, which are part of yogic scripture. Sutra means to thread together. These are ancient philosophical sayings and teachings from as long as 5,000 years ago. And this one is from number 139. It says, "Dear Shining One, in these yogic teachings that I have given you, there are more than 112 ways to enter the stillness beneath the waves of your active life. Cherish any one of these ways of stillness and make it your own. When you do, you can embody your own inborn wisdom." Gently and easily. Releasing that top arm down to the hip. And then giving yourselves just a gentle boost to come up to a seated position again. Nice. Good. Remove the bolster from the mat and then take one of your blankets, and when they're folded like this, go ahead and open it up again. And then you're going to even open it up one more time. So it's kind of long like this. And then just give it a roll, a tight little roll up. Just kind of set that there for a minute at the top of your mat. Just like that. Good. It should be kind of a long way. Yeah, I think you got it, right? No, you had it. You had it right. Yeah. Yes. So that it's a nice long roll. Good. And then take two blocks, two of your blocks, and stack them like this. One is on the horizontal, the other is behind it on the vertical. And you're going to take your bolster and set it up against those blocks. And this, you're going to kind of sit up right next to the bottom of the bolster and then come into Supta Baddha Konasana with the feet. We're going to just take this blanket around and grab underneath, wrap it around the tops of your ankles, the tops of your feet, and give it a little tug so that you feel kind of a nice little support there. Yeah. And then grab that bolster and slowly lower yourself back. Nice. Allow those legs to just relax. And then once again, we come back into a heart opener. There's no support for the arms this time. So the heart and the shoulders and the throat are able to open a little more deeply. As you settle in here, notice the opening through these chakras of the upper part of the body. So opening the heart is an easier thing to do as we become more and more quiet, more peaceful, more still, more into that unity consciousness part of the brain. We become less fearful, less defensive. So just notice. And then bring yourselves up to the throat chakra. Tilting the head up perhaps so that that throat is a little open. And just ask yourselves, are you being heard? Are you speaking your truth? Or do you often just close up? So it's a chance to sort of look and reflect at your own voice. go ahead and bring your awareness to the third eye. A place of wisdom. And from Sutra 28, trace the river of life that flows through you, gradually touching each of the centers along the spine and savor every shimmer along the way. Enter each area tenderly, loving as you go, finally gently dissolving in the third eye. And then dissolve even further, bringing your gaze above the crown of the head. And see the great dawn. What are these energies that undulate through our bodies, pulsing into action? What are these dancing particles of shimmering and condensed radiance? And gently draw your knees together. And however it feels comfortable and relaxing for you to come out of that pose, let that bolster go behind you. Don't worry about the blocks. Put those off to the side. And then reach your hands back behind you with bent knees. And just do a few little rocks and rolls, kind of bringing the knees together, opening through the hips. Good. Nice. And then we're going to come into a posture called toppling palm trees. You're going to bring your bolster onto the mat, parallel to the mat. And maybe keep your blankets. Maybe we should get this one back in its original configuration if you might want to have it for your arms or any other support, maybe even under the knee. But the toppling palm is going to be just a big, long stretch, your entire belly onto the bolster. And drop one cheek to one side. So if you decide to face the left, take your left leg and draw it up as high as you can into a froggy kind of a position here. Yeah. And then reach those arms out long and just settle there. Is that okay? Yes? Good. And then if you're turning, yes, turn your head to the same side as the leg that's out. Just feel the pressure on the belly. Keeping that bent leg as high up as you can. And you might notice just the nice, most gentle pull of gravity as that hip begins to release toward the floor. Good. Just settle in here. Gently take the leg that's bent straight out behind you. Neutralize the head and neck. Press up with hands under the shoulders to your knees and gently press all the way up to your knees. Take a big stretch here. Grab a wrist and reach across. And one more time, other side. Stretch up and reach across. And come on back down and send that other leg into the frog position as you turn your head and neck that direction. Settling in with a blanket or whatever else you need to support your body. And find the groundedness of this pose. We are grounded by gravity on this earth. In essence, we're held captive by space and time within our material bodies. But as the sutras constantly remind us, what is the pulsating energy within that will never be trapped by gravity? From Sutra 76, beloved, reject the reality of matter, deny the universe of appearance, and say no to the phenomenal world. Instead, reside in your secret place inside. Be still there. Joy will rise in the heart at this sudden freedom. Enter there and dwell. Once again, straighten out that leg to meet the other leg behind you. Good. And then gently press hands under shoulders. Good. Rise up onto the knees again. Inhale, arms come up high. And then just a gentle exhale, hands to the low back. Sort of press forward. Beautiful. neutralize the spine. Release the bolster from the mat. Take your blanket off of the mat as well and just grab one block for supported bridge pose. So this block is going to be just above your belt line, just above your pant line, the waistline. Just set it on the mat wherever, anywhere is fine. And then begin to drop down and then bend the knees as if you're going to rise up into a bridge pose, but you don't have to because we're doing a supported bridge. I'm sorry, I told you that above the belt line, it's just below the belt line. So that that big sacral plate is just heavily resting on the block. And you might even feel sometimes, you'll wiggle around very gently a little bit here. You might even feel the tiniest little clicking, clacking chiropractic adjustment of the lumbar spine sort of straightening itself out with the sacrum. So wherever you are with this, just feel the spine, the very thickest bone of the spine, just fully supported and grounded and resting into the block. Good. Watch your body as it responds to this. Watch your mind. Discipline the mind, control the mind, bringing it into that peaceful place by breathing deeply and focusing on the breath. There's a famous author in Western spirituality, Henry Nouwen, that speaks about the spiritual journey and spiritual maturity. And he writes, there can be no spiritual progression without silence and without stillness. These beautiful times of stillness allow us to unite with our silent witness, to find the yoga. That union between the smaller self with the higher self. Take a nice deep breath as you rise up through the hips into a bridge, and then remove your block and slowly lower down. Bring your feet wide on the mat. Draw the knees together. Nice release of that sacrum once again. Gently press up to a seated position. Close your eyes and just settle here with a straight spine for a moment. Find your breath. And gently open the eyes, and you are going to just take your mat, leave everything else where it is, and drag it over to the back wall for legs up the wall. So the mat will be on the vertical. Yes, then you're going to scoot your bottom right on as close to that wall as you can get to the baseboard. Yeah, and even when you get there, you can probably scoot even a little deeper. I love this little mat. Yeah.
I never would bought it myself, so I'm like,
Observe it.
it's like
It's your body way up. Good. So just rest. Do whatever feels nice with your hands, your arms. They can be on the body or off to the side. But just settle here in this very gentle inversion. And ever so gently, just draw your legs down the wall. Let your knees bop over to the right. And just settle there for a moment. And rising up to a seated position. Just facing the front of the room, bringing your hands to heart center. Just keep your eyes closed as I guide you through this closing meditation with our hands. Gently place your hands over your eyes. And as you do that, think about perhaps once in a while just withdrawing inward. Taking the senses inward and looking at the inner landscape, and then just gently place your hands so you can still hear me lightly over your ears. The eyes remain closed. And when we think of our ears, we want to try to use protection because we can actually become spiritually polluted by what we hear and what we listen to. Just as though we were eating bad food or we were breathing bad air, we can choose what it is that we want to bring into our ears. This is actually a limb of yoga called pratyahara, and it means to withdraw inward, to hear the still, small voice. Then take your hands and let them come up, 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 reaching toward the heavens in a gesture of hope, drawing the power in of that which is greater than us. Then close hands up at the top, bringing them into prayer to your third eye, the seat of your wisdom. And knowing that the light in each and every person can be honored, and that we try to honor outcomes with acceptance. And then open your palms as they come down and sort of surrender them to the earth, turn them over to the ground, using those hands to bless this place that we live on. And then finally bringing hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. The love that governs all is symbolically lodged here in the heart. This is the seat of our soul, and we bow. It's been my honor to be with you two beautiful souls tonight, and until we meet again, namaste. Thank you, ladies. So good to have you here. Thank you for being here and carving out the time to be a little more quiet and a little more still.
Yeah, wait for the second private class.
You're welcome.
I was so happy that it was just us and I wasn't coming to one class. And they were just waiting for me. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Well, good. I'm glad to meet you.
Yeah.
You guys have a really nice evening.
I feel how much I love this part of the yoga, having posters and things.
Yes.
To make it more comfortable.
Yes, mine too. It kind of evolves to that. I'm proud of you guys because you're still very young and fit. And when you're choosing to find the quiet like